Guess what time it is? It's time for the main event guys to check into their part-time jobs. I am B Love with TSG, the Chief, and on restriction this week is Pooh Bear. If you watch the Bucks, Rojo is still running. What a tale of two different games. Tiger gets a 10 on a par 3. We have the first female GM in pro sports, and SpaceX has a flight in T-minus 26 minutes. If you don't know, you know now. This is the main event.
Man, I can't get
Pooh Bear's still on restriction. What is the Chief doing now?
Dude, we live. Sorry, man. I was just reading a book.
Somebody needs to put that guy on restriction.
Yeah.
You know?
Listen,
So
I gotta stay healthy for the big trip, bro.
Listen, we're excited for you, you know. We really are. So man, I tell you what. If you watched the Bucks game last Sunday night and you watch today, it's a little bit different. Things looked a little. One of these is not like the other.
It's two different teams.
Oh, definitely two different teams. Two different offenses, two different defenses.
What we saw today was what we all expected to see pretty much every week. What we saw on Sunday night that we waited all day for was what we thought or what we saw every week last year.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I told you guys I thought this was an offense that could score 35 to 45 points every game.
Yeah.
I didn't ever expect to see a 0.
No, they got 3.
Well, they got 3.
Does that count, though?
I didn't see the 3 because I went to sleep frustrated way before that. Pathetic.
I was asleep frustrated before halftime was over.
It was right about halftime when I said out. And that's not normally me.
Where do you place the blame?
For the loss?
Yeah, is it on the coaches? Is it on the players?
That was a coaching loss. That was a coaching loss with a bunch of terrible play calls. There's 2 losses in this season that the Buccaneers can lay squarely on the coaching staff. That's the loss to the Bears and to the second loss to the Saints.
Bruce Arians has a responsibility to come in, and the buck stops here, and he has to make decisions to where he's going to protect the team from making mistakes. And one of those mistakes was they didn't run the football. They abandoned the football. Everybody knows that right away. 4
attempts.
Runs. Yeah. 4 runs. And you bring in Antonio Brown, and all of a sudden you've got the guy that lives with Tom Brady, who gets a little bit of favoritism, is getting all these targets, and there's some miscommunications. And they ran into a team that got Alvin Kamara back, they got Thomas back, and they got Emmanuel Sanders back. An entirely different team. And once you get behind on them and your defense does not get a rest, it is just like a mudslide. It's terrible, and it just keeps stacking up. Guys lose confidence. Now they know you have to pass. They pin their ears back, and they're just coming at you, and that makes it even worse. And it just snowballs.
Drew Brees is too good. Sean Payton is too smart. This team has been playing together for too long of a time to mess around with a bunch of kindergarten games like the Bucks were playing.
Yeah.
I
didn't understand. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I think the 3 and outs early in the game really hurt us.
Yes.
When, we were just giving the ball right back to the Saints and we couldn't stop them. They were pretty much scoring at will. And hey, let's not forget had we not recovered a fumble on the 1 yard line in the first quarter, that could have been much worse than it really was.
Right.
Yeah.
So this defense, I did not understand. Okay, in weeks past, they have gone into the locker room at least by halftime, and they have made adjustments on the defensive side of the ball. What I saw them doing was they were dropping back into zones, and they were trying to be opportunistic. They were trying to keep. It looked to me they were trying to get a little pressure on Drew, and he was going to make a slightly errant throw or maybe not have as much on it as it needed to get there. And they were trying to jump the routes, and it wasn't working. If it didn't work in the first half, it's not going to work in the second half. And that's the strategy they stayed with. And they almost had to stay with it at that point because at that point we were so far behind.
So far down.
Yeah, I agree. But,
this is the defense. I mean, I get it. I love to see the picks, the pickoffs as much as anybody. But even today, they were doing the same thing. They were playing off, and they're much more successful with stopping a play or a series when they play man-to-man and they put some pressure on the guy. It makes the window that the quarterback has to throw in so much tighter. And then that quarterback, he feels the pressure of having to make that good throw, and then he doesn't.
I agree, Chief. We do better when we blitz, and everyone knows that we went away from our blitz game, and we try to play zone against Drew Brees. That's a big mistake. And you're right. We should be playing more bump and run, more man. Now you can't play man all game; it'll wear the guys out. That's a tough thing to do, but you can certainly play a lot more, and you can certainly blitz like we normally do. We normally create pressure that way, and they outsmarted themselves. And the game plan was terrible.
Whatever it was they were showing Drew Brees, it was something he's seen before, and he didn't have any problem with it. He didn't have any problem whatsoever.
Well, I think teams are starting to figure out the blitz a little bit, right? We blitz. I think the stats is somewhere around 60+% of every defensive play. And, obviously if you can get protection for just 2 seconds and find somebody, even on a 5-yard route, you're going to beat that blitz every single time, right? It's all about getting pressure to the quarterback quickly. But I think teams are starting to figure out that blitz package that we're running. And then I think the other thing is, and I would love to see some stats on this. I don't know what they are, but Tom doesn't necessarily throw a very good deep ball, and a large part of our offense is that play, which is a loss of down every single time we run it.
Yeah, the strength is there, the accuracy is not there, which is surprising to me. But today he was clearly accurate, and he was throwing it in some really tight windows where. It even had Daryl Johnson was the commentator was baffled by how'd that ball make it in there?
But he didn't complete any of those long balls that they tried to throw. He didn't connect on any of those. I'm trying to remember the last time. Our best play on that play is pass interference.
Yeah. Well, there were 2 deep balls, one to Antonio Brown and one to Mike Evans, that were both dropped. They were in their hands. Now they weren't easy to catch, but they were. You have 2 all-pro MVP type receivers who had 2 hands on the ball. You got to catch that.
So I think Tom is absolutely surgical on the short stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And if you get yards after catch on some of those, you can turn a 5-yard slant into a 20-yard play,
which they did a lot today.
But sometimes you have to play the deep. You have to throw the deep ball to keep the defense honest.
I get that.
You got to keep the safeties back. And they have to respect that. It just is what it is.
I think it's just surprising to me, and not being a Patriots fan, be able to see Tom Brady's deep ball is not accurate. It's deep enough, it's long enough, and it seems to be in stride with the receiver to be able to lead him, but it's not on target.
Here's what I'm seeing, and Chief mentioned this earlier in the game today, and here's what I'm seeing. At the beginning of the season, we saw him actually hit quite a few long balls with Scotty Miller. And he actually hit a bunch of those. But when he is pushed out of the pocket at all, if he can't stand in that pocket, which we don't have Ali Marpet right now, and we didn't have him for New York Giants, or we didn't have him for the Saints, and we didn't have him today, 2 games in a row, I think there's a slight difference because remember, our line was performing really well this season with Ali Marpet in there. He was getting a lot of time.
Up until a concussion.
Dude, how does an offensive lineman get concussed?
Chief, tell us.
I mean, how does an offensive lineman get concussed so bad that he misses 2 games? Does somebody kick him?
I can tell you how a defensive lineman gets a concussion that you miss a couple games. You all want to hear this story?
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, I actually don't even remember the play very well. All I know is I got up off the ground and I couldn't see. Everything was out of focus. The world was spinning and out of focus. I make it back. We have a little huddle and I'm looking at one of my guys and I said, hey, look in my eyes and tell me what's going on here. And he goes, oh my gosh, dude, one of your eyes is big and the other one is super small. And I didn't know what that meant at the time, but I was like, that's probably not good. So we, I don't even know what the next play is called. I get up on the line and I'm looking at this guy that just clobbered me. And I told him, I said, hey, I'm not coming this time, man. I'm not, Dude, I had no idea what was going on, man. I was like,
hey, man, I'm taking a play off. Okay. What I gotta know though is him knowing you weren't coming. Did he throttle you again?
No, he did not. Dude, I mean, there was obviously something wrong with me because the coaches saw it, and next thing I know, I'm out of the game. I'm on the ground on the sideline. I was like, dude, I was wrecked. But offensive linemen, you figure those guys, they're taking helmet to helmet hits, every single play. And they're not small men. You got 300 men versus 300 men, 300 plus, plus another 300 plus guy. And these are all, strong men. I can understand easily how these guys have concussions. And
if I remember right, he took a knee to the helmet. And that's what.
Well, that'll do it for sure too, man. That snap. They call it a coup contra coup. Yeah.
That's a whole different story there. But yeah, so with him being out, I think it does make a difference. What's happening now is Tom Brady's getting pushed out of the pocket. And if you saw him a couple of times today, he ran to the side. When Tom Brady runs lateral and tries to stop and throw the ball, he's very inaccurate. And he's been doing that, and I think that's our problem. In the beginning of the year, he was able to make those passes from in the pocket, not getting touched. Very accurate. Scooter Miller is catching those, and Mike Evans are catching them. We've got to get back to where he's able to make that throw from the pocket. And also, last game, there was no running plays to keep those linemen from coming in so fast. The run stops.
Yeah, you could essentially blitz on every play knowing you weren't going to get burned by the run.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we were all pretty disgusted by the way that Saints game went. Hey, the reality is we might get an opportunity to see them again in the playoffs. Probably not over.
If the Bucs go far enough, then yes, they will.
Yeah. See, our opportunity to play them is probably not over. So far, I'm not liking those chances. But I mean, today, a much different story, and it could have started off bad. I mean, the Bucs, they were late for a date.
7 hours on a tarmac.
Woo!
How does that happen in this day and age?
I would have written a strongly worded email to the
not you.
Well, so apparently that was the resolution. So Bruce Arians, after 5 hours, said, "All right, we're getting off. I don't care. We're going to switch planes."
Right.
It took 5 hours to make that decision.
I don't know. I read an article somewhere that they were doing walkthroughs and team meetings and stuff like that on the tarmac.
They may have, because they canceled all the other meetings and planning sessions. I say cancel them for next week too, because it worked.
I mean, come on, that's crazy. So listen, Chief, by the way, I know you like to write that strongly worded letter. Did you get a response?
I did, from American Airlines. And so as you remember, they kept telling us that the problem was about luggage. And so they wrote back and they were like, we take your safety. It's always safety, it's like the that's like the safe excuse. We take our safety as priority number one. And I said, I did write him back. I said, so this is a different story than what the pilot was telling us when he was telling us it was about luggage. And that's where they quit talking to me. So
They were like, "We got one of those guys."
Yeah, we got. But I was riding them from the plane. I was like, "You guys have got me freaking hostage on the plane."
Guys, we got a Karen in 14C.
I was about to say. They were like, "Wait a minute, this guy's signing his name, Cliff. This isn't a Cliff.
Right.
This is a
We need you to calm down.
B-Love, you wasted your entire nap on that, waiting on that plane.
I know, I did. I missed all of that because I was asleep.
You wake up and you're like, "Are we in Tampa yet?"
Like,
Like,
what are we doing? We're still on the ground.
We're still in Dallas.
That's so great.
Wow.
So, but yeah,
So
they
anyways,
waited
they
6
got
hours and switched to plane due to mechanical issues or something.
They ended up putting them on a different plane, like a completely other plane. And
now, see, Jason Pierre-Paul, who had an interception today, by the way, with only 6 fingers.
With only 7. How do you catch that ball? Is it like this?
Whatever he's got, it was amazing to be able to do that.
Is it like this?
So he owns his own plane. He has a G5.
That's right.
Oh wow!
How in the world he didn't just say, "Hey,
Everybody,
my man, bring it over"?
Because it only
D-line.
like 6.
Yeah, they got the defensive line.
It's only an hour to Charlotte. They could have taken 2 or 3 trips, and by the time they got off the tarmac,
is he a pilot or does he just own the plane?
He just owns the plane. I'm sure he has a pilot, or he may even share it with someone. But it's got his logo and stuff on the wingtips.
You remember that show? You remember that show, The Black Sheep Squadron? Dude. So as a kid, Pappy Boynton, yeah. As a kid, I loved that show, and ever since then, I wanted to be a pilot. Man, I was like, but I don't want a jet. I want props, just like Pappy had. But I like that too.
Now imagine that. Imagine having that experience just like you did, wanting to be a pilot, and then seeing Top Gun as a young man and saying, "This is it. This is what I want to do." Right? That was my dream.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Then I found out fighter pilots have to be under 6 feet.
Yep, you're out.
Yeah,
you're fine.
Yeah.
Matter of fact,
I'm talking about a dream crusher.
You could work on the planes.
I don't want to do that.
Even underneath him.
How about he hits the eject button? He's like eject, and then nothing. It goes poof, and he's still sitting there.
Right.
It's like he's over the limit. He's like, "Oh, this sucks. I'm stuck."
That's what happened to Tom Brady last week. He tried to hit eject and it didn't go anywhere.
No, he did not.
Oh, it was
man,
bad.
that is funny.
It was so bad. But guess what, guys? We had 30. We had how many run plays here? We had over 200.
More than 4. We had more than 4.
37.
37?
Yes.
Wow.
I knew that felt like we had the football for a long time today.
Yeah, they did.
Broke a record, 99-yard run for the Buccaneers. Broke a record for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on that run.
He's still running.
He's still running, man. He should never have stopped. He should have been, straight to the
just go to the locker room. Yeah.
Ryan Jensen made a great block.
He got me 24 fantasy points. More kudos to the offensive line. I don't remember any offensive line penalties today, other than there was one for
one hand to the face by Ryan.
Hands to the face by Jensen. Yep. No holdings, no false starts, no, illegal procedures. None of that. It was a very clean game. We only had the one turnover, right? So turnovers, no penalties, and the two penalties they have. Actually, one got canceled due to incomplete pass, but the hit on the quarterback, the helmet to helmet, that was a garbage call. And I'll tell you this: I was waiting for them to mention on that delay of game toward the end of the game when the receiver caught the ball and then the defensive back didn't get up. If you look, it wasn't a catch; it got overturned. Mm-hmm. But the very shrewd play by the receiver, in my opinion, he was holding the arm of the defensive back. I think it was Edwards, Mike Edwards. He was holding his arm, so he couldn't get up. So when he finally got frustrated and pushed off, it looked like he was delaying the receiver.
Him down. Yeah,
right. Very shrewd play. I mean, that's a advanced veteran type of move, if that was his intent.
Oh, sure it was.
Yeah. But if so, because he got the penalty, but then he didn't catch the ball, so he lost the ball. But I thought that was amazing. And Moose Johnson totally glossed over. He's like, "Oh, look, he's fully intending to keep him down. This is a penalty." I'm like, "No, bro,
that penalty on what should have been a sack that turned into a roughing the passer.
Yes,
he had him with both arms bear hugged.
what they're calling
lost for words here. Help me out.
What they were calling was the helmet-to-helmet contact. But if you listen to Moose Johnson, and I felt the same way, that was a textbook tackle. Your head is up, your eyes are in the numbers, you make the tackle. That is textbook. That is exactly how everybody that's ever played football has ever been taught correctly to do.
Yes.
Did you see the play today that took Drew Brees out? So Drew Brees gets sacked on a very similar play. The defensive lineman, as he tackles him, he actually rolls to his side and he lands like on Drew and on his left shoulder, and they call a penalty against who did doggone it escapes me right now. Who are the Saints playing right now?
49ers.
Thank you. And they called the penalty against the 49ers, and for the second time today, I heard the commentators saying that if the quarterbacks can't take those types of hits, they're not football players. And that's the truth. I mean, I'm all for protecting the quarterback, but the fact of the matter is this is tackle football. And,
well, you get when you start getting in the players' heads, especially defensive players' heads, that they're not allowed to hit them like they've been trained. And they do things like that took Teddy Bridgewater out of the game, which was a low tackle on the legs. That's the only thing you have left. You can't hit him high. You got to hit him low. Well, guess what? Now Teddy Bridgewater maybe need knee surgery or something. I think he looks like he's all right, but that's the end result.
That was an unfortunate play actually, where Teddy Bridgewater got hurt.
Right, and that was a clean play as well. It wasn't like it was a malicious hit.
No, but the thing is, you can't pull up if you're a defensive player and you're coming in and you're like, oh, I got to slow down, because guess what? That quarterback's not going to slow down.
Correct.
He's going to go ahead and scoot it right around you. That's not how it works. If you're going to be sitting back there, if your offensive line didn't protect you, if you're taking too much time to throw the football, these guys are coming, and everyone knows that's the price that you pay.
I've got Jameis Winston. So Jameis Winston came in for Drew Brees and went 6 of 10. 6 of 10. They're the 6 of 1, 27-13, or winning.
How many picks did he throw?
No picks. But his QB rating is 78.3 versus Drew Brees before he left. He went 8 for 13, 76 yards, and he had a quarterback rating of 103.4. So you're looking at 26 points drop in QB rating.
They're about to light this candle on this SpaceX rocket.
Oh my gosh, is it going to go?
About 4 minutes to go, man.
All right. Have you ever seen one of those live, by the way? Like
no.
Not the SpaceX, but the shuttles. So I went over there with the family years and years ago, and you're standing across the I don't know, some sort of body of water. I forget if it's intercoastal or whatever it is. So the thing goes up, and you can kind of hear a rumbling, and I had always heard about how amazing it was. And it goes up, and it's pretty high now, and I hear a rumble, and I'm like, that's it. I was kind of disappointed. I was like, oh man, this is not as cool. We came all the way across the state for this. And then you look at the water, right? And the water is rippling, and you can see it coming at you. And you're like, oh, something's about to happen. Something is going to happen.
The sound wave.
When that sound wave hits you, it shook you from the inside out. I am telling you, it had to be 20 years ago, and it is still amazing to remember that. I mean, you're like going, you weren't scared. You were just excited. You were like, oh, you can feel the power of that rocket just taking off. Yeah. And, man, I've wanted to take my kids over there, and we have just never made it for a launch, and this would be a good one.
Yeah, we tried to make it for the first manned space flight launched with SpaceX back Memorial Day weekend. In fact, we waited all day.
Yeah.
And they ended up scrubbing that mission. I think that was on a Tuesday, and they ended up scrubbing it till Saturday, so we didn't get an opportunity to see that. That's one of the challenges right now. They take, and I'm not saying this negatively, but they take so many safety precautions.
Right.
You could spend a whole day going over there for a scrubbed launch. You just don't know. But they're T-minus 2 minutes 30 seconds to light that candle. So this is pretty exciting. Sending 4 guys into space on a manned space flight to the International Space Station.
Good old Elon Musk, man, getting it done. You hear his story? Did you hear his story this week?
His COVID story about how he tested COVID twice positive, twice negative.
Four tests, 2 positive, 2 negative. And then I read the story today about a lady. I didn't finish reading the story, but she had a test in each nostril, One was positive, one was negative.
Yeah.
And it's got me worried. I have to, for those that don't, I have to have a negative test this Wednesday for something coming up this weekend. And it's a little unnerving because this is a big deal in the making. It's something you can't back out of, but it's like, golly, all this uncertainty. It's very nerve wracking.
We'll try getting it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Killing me with this sad story over here.
Full disclosure, I'd rather not have it than actually get it. But I'm just saying, for someone who is looking forward to something else and needs this last hurdle to be able to do that other thing, it's a little unnerving.
Hey, if you're one of these four guys getting ready to blast off, man, what do you think is going through their heads right now?
Dude, I can't imagine what their heart rate is. I mean, this has got to be
the challenger.
I mean,
I like the fact they give you the camera inside the capsule and you can kind of see these guys now.
They were T-1 minute right now.
Yes.
Cool.
This is pretty cool, man. This is pretty cool. So going back to the Bucs game, I'll keep you guys posted on the SpaceX. But so we ran the ball how many times, Pat?
37.
And how many times did we throw the ball?
Hang on. I'll get that for you.
Like over 30. I mean, that's a lot. We had a lot of offensive plays.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. Well, they scored 45 points. None of them were defensive. So, yeah.
And I'm wondering how many yards that we ran the football for minus that 98, or 99, whatever that was.
All right. So passing.
There it goes.
334 yards. And passing attempts were 28 for 39, so 39 attempts. That's a very even game, 37 and 39. That's a good balance.
You have liftoff.
Yep.
You have liftoff?
Yep, they lit that sucker.
Doggone, it's like watching, football at Pooh's house because I still don't have liftoff over my computer.
Hey!
But
and by the way, we were on antenna today, so everything you kept saying, yeah, buddy.
Oh, so you saw it. Okay.
I was just as live as you.
You actually saw Rojo's touchdown in real time.
Yes, I was just as live as you guys. Freaking
I did that spoiler alert, and I was like,
Chief,
oh my gosh, I was in tears.
Where are the cannons, Chief? With the day we had today,
this thing is already at like Mach 800 miles an hour, man. This is crazy.
I got over 1,000. I'm at 1,200. I'm over Mach 1.
I'm still at 600. Still some Mach.
What's
your altitude? I'm at
1,500 and climbing.
1,500 kilometers?
Yeah.
Oh man, you're 2/3 ahead of me.
I guess so.
All right.
I don't think we're gonna be able to see this thing out the window.
No,
I
don't think so.
Yeah, let me holler down to the family, see if they want to go look. Mute
what was that? All right, so getting back to the show.
All right, show to do.
So, what else you guys got for the Bucs game?
So we should talk about the defense for sure. I mean, these guys had 3 sacks. Jason Pierre-Paul, Watson, I believe, was in on that deal, or Hudson. What's his name? The guy that made that good tackle on special teams as well. Jason Pierre-Paul not only made the sack, but he made the interception. And then he also had a sack. Shaq Barrett also had a sack. And then Hudson, he had a sack.
Yeah.
All right. I got the family on the back deck looking to see if we can see it. So.
All right. Hey, these Panthers, that's a good football team. Mark Rule is an excellent football coach.
Yeah.
And
several times.
What the Buccaneers were doing with their linebackers, I believe, was the key to the defensive success today.
Mm-hmm.
The linebacker, we saw JPP drop back into coverage. They were able to, many of the times, they were blitzing with the linebackers. But the tricky part is when they're blitzing with some of their defensive backs and their linebackers are able to drop back and to take that spot in coverage. And they were pretty successful doing that, I thought, especially in the second quarter. And remember now, the score, they had 7 points almost given to them by the fumble early on.
Yep.
So, that you can't really, I don't count those 7 points against the defense. I know the statisticians and the other guys will, but
I don't know. I thought Teddy Bridgewater didn't play a bad game. I thought
he's a good quarterback.
I think he started off with like 11 for 11.
Yeah, I was a proponent of I wanted the Bucks to bring Teddy Bridgewater here before he went to the Saints. I think he's a great quarterback. I think he played well today. I think it's unfortunate Christian McCaffrey can't stay healthy.
Yeah,
for that team, he's probably arguably one of the best all-around players in football. And it's a different game with him out there.
Hey, I got intel that we can see it.
I think
it can be seen. It can be seen from Tampa.
I think they're going to get wise and learn how to use McCaffrey. They might use him more of a limited and instead of trying to use him so much, because he's worth having in the game. Even if you have to, taper back a little bit on how much you use him, so you have him every game. That's worth it.
Yeah, and I think the problem they're having now is the fact that you're wanting to ensure that he is with you past this season, right? He's clearly a Level says one of. I think he is the best player in all of football at this point. So I think they're just trying to preserve him long term. They're looking past this, 2020. He's already missed significant time, so it's not like he's going to pad any kind of stats this year. But it's been 2 different injuries this year. It was a leg injury or an ankle injury up until last week. Last week was a shoulder injury that sat him out, which is kind of odd for such a young, in shape individual.
Yeah,
it's kind of odd, especially for a running back.
He gets the ball on a lot of plays. He gets hit on a lot of plays. It's a numbers game.
And he's a create contact kind of guy. He's looking to make contact.
It's like you go back to some of these quarterbacks who ran, that run pass option over the last couple, like RG3. I mean, it ended his career. Colin Kaepernick, he suffered injuries because of it too. Michael Vick. I mean, you name them. Those run pass option quarterbacks, they take a lot more licks, because even when they choose not to run the ball, a lot of times they get hit even after that option.
Yeah.
So it's just tough, Any passing thoughts before we move on from the Bucks game?
What are you listening to, TSG? Whatever it is, it's loud.
Cannons, baby.
Oh, cannons. He's firing the cannons.
Fire cannons.
So next week we're on Monday Night Football.
Yes.
And we've got the LA Rams coming into town for Monday Night Football. So we'll see how that goes. Depending on how that goes, we might have a live show, the next day, just talking about that Bucks game. But hopefully we continue the trend. We're 7-3, 2 losses to the Saints, 1 of the Bears, and let's see if we can't make it 8-3 heading into LA. So segueing to a different sport.
Wait. The Rams, they're going to be facing Aaron Donald there on Monday night, and that's the guy that's going to cause problems for Tom Brady.
Marpet needs to be back by then.
Yeah, he's going to push him out, and that's where he gets. Well, we talked about this when he goes lateral and tries to throw the ball. He's very inaccurate. So.
Bucks fans will remember the last time the Buccaneers played the Rams in 2019. It did not go so well for the Rams. That was a dominant victory by the Buccaneers.
There was something I was frustrated with about the Buccaneer defense today, and that's that the tackles were giving up their lanes. We had defensive ends that were working their way around trying to get to the quarterback, but we had a lot of runs up the middle where the tackles were meant to be, and I think I'm not exactly sure what they were trying to do, if they were trying to maybe stunt or whatever it was, but they were giving up their lanes, and I really hope that they see that on tape and they concentrate on staying home if that's the plan, because there were no linebackers behind them to take that position. So
it's a loss of Vita
Vita Vea has hurt, and Nacho has not been a great substitute. I mean, he hasn't been a glaring weakness, but he certainly hasn't been that run stopper in the middle. They definitely miss Vita Vea.
Yeah, absolutely crazy to me the television coverage you get of a space launch today. You know, we are watching this like on high definition, every angle possible. There's cameras all over the spacecraft.
And do you know what the difference is between SpaceX running this and NASA running it?
Money?
The government. The government. This is because Elon Musk and SpaceX is a private company that wants to advertise their company and to show the world what they can do. Yeah. So therefore, you get this. This wasn't happening when NASA was running the show because it was all a secret. We don't want the world to know what we're doing because we're doing it better than anybody else.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, so let me ask you guys a question. Golfers?
Yep.
We've dabbled a little bit, played some golf.
I hit the ball with the club, but that is not golfing. That is abuse of grass.
Typically when we go out and play golf, a lot of times we institute a rule, double par. Right. Yeah. So double par is if you're playing a par 4, the highest score you can get is an 8. If you haven't gotten into the hole after 8, you pick up, you go back to the cart. Right? How about today?
Avi doesn't know anything other than maybe like a bogey. You know, that's his high score, bogey.
Yeah. How about today? Tiger Woods drops a 10 on the par 3 12th. A 10. 1-0. Not even a snowman. It's a snowman plus 2.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
And then this guy blows the back 9 up and birdies 5 of the last 6 holes. Now, have any of you ever gotten a 10 on a par 3?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask if I ever had a birdie. I was all excited to answer yes. No, because of the fact that we play by the rule you mentioned before, double par. Once I got to 6, pick it up. I'm not beating anybody with a 6, so just have fun and go to the next hole.
Okay. Yeah, there are definitely. I have never recorded a 10 on a par 3, and for the same reason. But there were definitely times when I had the option to.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, honestly, a lot of the water holes, you hit 1 or 2 in the water.
Oh yeah.
You know, by the time you take your drop, you're going to be near 10 anyway.
I mean, here's the thing you think of. I think DJ ended up winning this thing at, I don't know, what was his final score, 17?
Dustin Johnson did win.
He was 20 under.
I'm sorry, 20 under. So I think Tiger had 7 or 8 birdies today. Had he played par golf, he'd have still lost by 7 strokes. But it would have been one of the best rounds of the tournament.
Oh, yeah.
If it wasn't for a 10.
Yeah, he was -1. He got 76 today. So if he'd have shot a 72, is Augusta 72?
72, yeah.
All right. So even if he would have gotten, say 4 points off, he's only 5 under. So that's still not even close.
Just absolutely crazy. So I saw some other crazy shots this week.
By the way, 5 under is only good for 23rd. Justin Rose, 5 under 23.
Okay. Well. So I saw some other crazy shots.
This is.
Hey, the SpaceX guys are legit in space now. They're taking off. They're starting to take off their gloves and stuff, and it's floating. So, if you saw the shot this week, it was all over everywhere of Rahm, who skipped a ball off the par 3 and gets a hole-in-one. You guys all saw that?
Yep.
Okay. Well, on Friday, this guy's in the fairway of a par 5. And he's going to do something that every one of you who has ever played golf has done. He pulls a 3-wood out of his bag, and he's going to hit it off the carpet.
Yes.
And he hits it off the carpet. It doesn't get more than about 2 inches off the ground, and it goes straight and 90 degrees to the left, right? This thing's now in the woods. It's not out of bounds, but it's in the woods. He's hitting off the pine straw, and he's miraculously got about a 70-yard punch. If he can punch it through a pair of trees that are probably 12 to 15 yards apart, if he can punch it through there, he can actually get to the green here on 3. He's still got a shot for par, right? This dude lines up, takes a couple practice swings, takes his stroke. It ricochets off of a tree and goes out of bounds. And I thought to myself, I got that shot. I got that shot in my bag.
Dude, I can't hit that massive opening to save my life, but I can hit that freaking tree every single time.
Yep. But here's the thing. You couldn't hit that tree if you tried.
Yes, you're right. I mean, I've actually tempted myself to aim at the tree, believing that I can't hit it, and then it'll just go where it should go.
Yeah.
I think I hit a tree one time. It ricocheted back, bounces off the cart path, goes into the golf cart, hits the roof, hits the floor, hits the roof, hits the floor, and settles around somewhere out of bounds. It was unbelievable.
I think your pitching wedge hit a tree one time too.
Yeah.
It's still wrapped around it.
It's
been a lot of that. My dad asked me Wednesday. I had breakfast with my dad on Wednesday, and he plays probably 2 or 3 times a week. And with that tropical storm ETA coming, he had to dog off his Wednesday round, his normal Wednesday round, and was asking me, how often I still play. I'm like, Dad, I don't play at all. I try to avoid it at all costs.
Yeah,
it's just really not that fun for me anymore because it's so frustrating. It's usually very hot. It takes so long to play.
For me, it's so time consuming. My uncle is in town right now from Kentucky, and him and my dad will play a bunch this month. And he asked me, and I was like, the thing is like I work full time, work during the week, except TSG and Chief, and then on the weekends, like I don't have 8 hours to dedicate to a round of golf.
Right.
I would love to be able to. It's just something I have enjoyed doing in the past. It's just hard to find the time.
If it was something extra special, if there was, family or friends in town that really wanted to play, or a different course, or, just a different reason other than, hey, it's Saturday, let's get up and go play, then I think I might go for it. But like I played in a tournament for work a year or so ago. It's a special thing. I did that. So, but yeah, it's just not for me much anymore.
I've been so bad at golf before that I've made people quit playing golf for the day. They're behind me, and instead of just going around and skipping a hole, and jumping in front, they just went back to the house. I saw them like, wow, they just kept on going. I thought, oh, they're going to jump to the next hole, put a 4 down for this one, and keep going. They kept going right back to the house. And I saw them in there, and they were just just drinking or whatever. They were like, we're done. We're not playing her. They must have been scared.
Excuse me. So listen, I think something very cool happened in sports this week. The Miami Marlins of Major League Baseball hired the first female general manager of a North American sports franchise. What do you guys think?
Of any North American sports franchise.
Any North American franchise.
I mean, I know her resume is deep in baseball. I mean, she's been the VP of baseball operations at the major league level for Major League Baseball. I don't really care if you're a man, if you're a woman. She's going to now have to put together a team that can win. And maybe she can do it, maybe she can. I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. I mean, she's not playing the game. She's going to be number cruncher. The one coordinating with scouts and other GMs. She's going to communicate with them. More power to her.
She's essentially the leader of baseball operations.
I hope that this is not a stunt. No, boy.
Did you just say you hope it's not a stunt?
Yeah, I hope it's not a stunt. I mean, I hope she comes in and succeeds.
Fuba, are you going to share it with us? What's so funny?
I know, man.
I'm not sure if I could during this segment.
Yeah.
So my daughter just texted me. We just spent the last 10 minutes looking at Polaris. Mom thought it was the rocket.
This is Dr. Perkins, correct?
Wow.
Oh gosh.
Dr. Perkins.
Here we sit talking about the advancement of women and their causes, and
Dude, you're sleeping on the couch tonight, man.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh man, I'm crying.
Wow.
So
Personally, I think it's pretty cool.
I'm with
listen,
Steve. I hope it's not a stunt.
I think leaders are leaders. It doesn't, again, to your point, she's not playing baseball. She's not coaching the game or managing the game. She's essentially leading baseball operations for this organization. And leaders are leaders. It doesn't matter, man, woman, child. Well, I guess that wouldn't matter.
Child.
Child labor, communist. No, I feel we're in a very specific time in our history as a country, as a society, where this is kind of like the cool thing to do, right? Yeah. It's the cool thing to do to promote a woman or to promote women's causes, promote minority causes. It's all well and good when it's genuine. If it's manufactured and fabricated, I've got a little bit of a problem with it, just in the sense that if you're doing it just to do it, then you're not hiring the best person for the job. And I'm a big advocate for that. If there's somebody else the Marlins really wanted, but said, no, you know what? I don't think I want that person. I want her instead because we'll get the publicity. That's a problem with that. But if it's genuine and she truly is, and I think she has the resume for it, it sounds like she is a excellent baseball person, then it's fantastic. I have no problem. I wouldn't have a problem if she was a coach. I don't care if she's the best person for the job, right? So that's my position, and that's been my position on anything to this sense. We're at the point in time in the year where we're starting to see a lot of Christmas commercials, and there's families getting together, and I'm seeing these fabricated families of people just aren't family, right? It doesn't fit. You've got one of everybody in the family. There might be a family out there like that, but it's probably not going to make the TV. But here we are. That's what they're representing because they want to connect with everybody. And I get that, but it just feels so forced. Sure. That's where I have questions and doubts about your sincerity toward the cause. That's all. That's Pooh Bear's office soapbox.
Let's talk about football picks. I'm excited. I'm excited to get into this. Let's talk about last week's picks. Let's make
all right. So last week's picks, are this week's week 10. Right, we're in week 10.
We are.
Here's what we got. So game 1, and Pooh Bear's got notes here, I believe, on how we picked.
Yeah, we're going to review this current week, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So game 1 was Indianapolis, the Colts versus the Titans. Pooh Bear, how we do?
All right, so we all picked the Colts, except for you. So you were a big loser on that one, buddy. Because
I'm gonna need to see those notes. So make sure we're counting the right.
Indy Titans, BL Tit.
Okay. Well, sweet. BL Tit.
I missed it.
How long you been in isolation?
All right.
The Colts won 34-17.
Everybody got that game except me. Okay, so
that's correct.
Game 2.
Game 2 was
the New York Football Giants versus the Eagles.
Yes, and Danny Jones went crazy running all over those Eagles.
Yes. Well, I believe 3 of us picked the Giants in honor of Matty Ho.
That is correct.
And the fact that we just don't like Philadelphia.
Well, I flipped a coin because I hate both franchises. So there you have that. The coin came up in my favor.
So the Chief and Pooh Bear are currently 2-0.
Yes.
At that point, yes.
Right? And Pat and I each have 1. And then so the last game is the Texans versus the Cleveland Browns.
That's correct. And the Browns went on to victory in a rousing 10-7 game.
Woo. Wow, what a barn burner.
With a crazy weather delay. Did you guys see the video of that?
Yes. The lightning and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, this big nor'easter, like Hurricane ETA came up in there or something, and just the people, there was footage from the stands, and people were getting blown over. It was insane.
Crazy. So
I was the lone person to choose the Texans because of my family. Woo.
Yeah, that's right.
That lost it. So
does that mean did the Chief go perfect?
Undefeated.
Oh, wow.
Undefeated.
Wow.
Right here.
3-0. Good on you, man. Good on
cowboy
you.
hat. That
So
cowboy
means
hat's
the
never
rest
going
of
to
us
fit.
went 2-1, right? So I mean that means the new guy wears the wig, right?
That
Come
is true.
on!
The new guy wears the
new
wig.
guy wears
Every
the
time.
wig. That's every time.
What's
Every
going on
time.
here? Talk
Come
about
on.
equality.
Let's get that
Hey.
wig on because we got picks to make.
We're going to change it to TNG.
All right.
The new
listen,
guy.
While the new guy's putting on the wig, here's picks for this week. Pooh Bear, you
First
got
game.
something to write down on? All right.
Yeah, got it.
So first game is Lions and Panthers. So Chief, since you were perfect this past week, how about you lead the way?
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take off on this, but I feel like you guys are just gonna copy me. I'm going Panthers.
Ooh.
Panthers played the Bucs hard this week. I said they're a good team. Mark Rule, he's a good coach. That is the team to beat, right? Well, not the team to beat, but the Bucs are the team to beat. But the Panthers will beat the Lions.
Okay.
Interessante. Hey, and listen, you keep telling me he's perfect. That cowboy hat's not going to fit when his head's going to get so big.
I'm going to grow some hair. Is that what's going to happen?
Okay. Pooh Bear, who you got?
I'm going to – it really depends on whether or not McCaffrey's back. I think he's going to be back, so I'm going Panthers as well. He's just – we just mentioned him 20, 30 minutes ago. He's the best player in football. He's going to be back. He's going to help the Panthers win the game.
All right. I feel the same way as you. Chief, I'm not stealing your pick. I'm stealing Pooh Bear's.
Okay.
So I also picked the Panthers.
All right, TSG. TNG, what you got?
Panthers.
All right.
Panthers. Well, all of a sudden, the new guy, he doesn't look like he's having a good time.
He's got that like last call look going on right now. The lights just came on, and
he looks like he's going to interview for the GM for the Rays.
oh wow.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Hey, we did
Wow,
not
what's
mention,
the-
by the way, we did not mention that Kevin Cash won AL
Man,
Manager of the Year.
yes.
All right,
Totally
yes.
forgot about that.
yep.
Congratulations, Kevin Cash. All right,
All right.
Pooh Bear, what's the
next game? Titans at the Ravens.
All right, Chief.
I'm not this. Come on.
Okay. It's a no-brainer, guys. The Ravens. I mean, the Ravens almost picked off the Steelers a couple weeks ago. The Ravens are playing good football. The Titans are fighting inside themselves right now.
Yep.
This is Ravens all the way.
I'm just going to jump ahead. That's my pick too. I think it's a no-brainer, just like you said.
Ravens.
Pooh Bear, what you got?
Man, that's a tough one. That is at home for the Ravens. I really do like the way the Titans are playing, but I just don't think they're going to have enough. But I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to go with the Titans. Let's go Nashville.
Okay.
I'm gonna mix it up right here.
There you
Mix
go.
it up,
They got
What do we
whooped
got
by the
next?
Colts this week.
What do we got next? I'm gonna guess on this next one.
No,
Hang
We're
on.
not
no.
all going to agree.
TSG has not voted. He's not
Oh,
giving
he
us
picked
his.
the Ravens.
I went Ravens.
Oh, okay.
I slipped it in there. I know you can't hear through my hair, but
The way I've gotten this written. The way I've got this written is ball tit.
We're gonna get fired.
I know.
We're gonna get fired.
Oh man.
All right, so Falcons and Saints.
Boo! Both of them.
So here, this is a division game against the Bucs, right? The Bucs are in this division. I'm gonna go first, Chief, because I know you're getting upset with everybody stealing your picks.
Go ahead.
But I'm gonna go Falcons on this one.
Ooh.
Okay, I think that Ra is doing some good things here with the Falcons. I think they're finding some momentum. We don't know what kind of shape Drew Brees is going to be in yet for next week. It might be Winston throwing the ball, which if
the Falcons know how to beat Winston.
yes, so that's my pick.
Okay.
Chief, it seems like you're in agreement.
I am whether Drew Brees was playing or not. I had already selected the Falcons as a win on this week.
Wow.
Okay. All right. TSG, what you got?
I'm going with the Saints.
Yeah, I am too. The Saints are too strong. The Falcons just don't have it together just yet. They're struggling. Struggling.
And then the last game we got.
Last game is the Bengals versus the Washington football team.
Listen,
Alex
Smith makes a start today for the first time in nearly 2 years after 17 surgeries.
Yep.
Right? I'm picking Washington just because if this guy's the quarterback next week, there is no player in the NFL that has more perseverance than this dude. He deserves a W.
Yes. He has 390 yards today.
Yeah, He played very well against the Lions, rather.
I don't know how they lost. They only had one turnover. The Lions didn't have any. And they both had almost the same amount of penalties. So it must have been special teams or something somewhere in there. Better kicker, I don't know. But
all right, so B-Love, you're going Washington?
Yep.
All right, TSG?
Washington. I agree. Alex Smith deserves a win. That guy, he's got moxie, man.
Chief.
So this is the NFL, and you don't get wins on who deserves the wins. You get wins by who plays the best football. And I'm going to tell you right now, I believe that the the Washington football team is playing better football than the Bengals. I go Washington.
There you go.
Well, so part of me said I do believe Washington is the better team. But it's like, man, if I pick, there's going to be a tie. So I feel like I need to not pick it. I'll go Cincinnati.
Get your wig.
You're going to Joe Burrows.
I'm going with the Burrows, who only put up 10 points today, but that was against the 9-0 Steelers.
I don't think Pooh Bear's really too worried about a wig because this one's looking pretty good on me today. I think he's like, wow, if it looks that good on TSG, I could wear that for sure.
Listen, I may need it to have to re-enter to my house next week. I don't know. After my wife watches this.
Oh, you're in trouble. Going down.
This is the downside of a live show.
Oh,
yes,
this
it
wig
is.
is about as good as Chiefs golf game, I tell you.
Yeah. All right. So you mentioned that today the Steelers are 9-0. We were talking before in the green room. The Steelers are on their fourth head football coach in their
third
in their entire franchise history.
Yeah.
That is remarkable.
All winners.
This is one of the long-standing. This is not like the Texans who just came into the league. This is the Steelers who have been around since the 30s or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely incredible.
I guess it's since the 70s. So Chuck Noll or 60s. Chuck Noll was their first
60s.
coach throughout the 60s and 70s. Won 4 Super Bowls, and then Bill Cowher comes in, leads Bubby Brister and Merrill Hodge to a couple of Super Bowls with amazing defenses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then after he leaves, he didn't get fired, which is something else that just doesn't happen this day and age.
His wife was sick. His
Correct.
wife was sick, and he left to spend time with her.
Right. And since then he's well documented his travels with his daughter's volleyball teams, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's huge, obviously he's on TV every week now. But then now after he left, Mike Tomlin, former Buccaneer coach, former assistant with the Buccaneers, and a Tony Dungy prodigy. He goes to meet Mr. Rooney and ends up being the coach. Been there for 14 years. He has 14 winning seasons. That is just a remarkable in this day and age when you have a revolving door in Cleveland, Miami, Cincinnati, where else?
Tampa.
Jacksonville. Tampa. As much as you say that. Not
Crusaders has been there for 2 years.
Not to the level of these other teams I'm mentioning.
Okay.
Cleveland has had a different coach in there for the past 10 years every year, just about.
Dallas threatens to fire their coach every year, but Jason Garrett held on for about 10 somehow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of NFL we're in really all of sports. What have you done for me lately? So it's just a remarkable feat. Kudos to them.
It is awesome. Absolutely awesome.
There was some other manager hirings this week that we haven't talked about yet either.
Are you talking about Alex Cora?
With Alex Cora coming back? Yet Pete Rose can't get in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. You bring this up with no time left in the show.
It was in the notes.
Never.
But you have a known
did you
cheater.
see this week, like Dwight Gooden gets arrested again for drug charge? I mean,
no.
But Pete Rose can't get back into baseball.
He cheated the game of baseball, the game itself.
Were we going to fire this guy?
Darryl Strawberry cheated himself in life.
Yeah, but so did Alex Cora. Alex Cora cheated the Red Sox to victory.
Yes.
Yes, he'll never get in. He should never get into a Hall of Fame.
Great, but the Red Sox just hired him to manage their ball club.
That's bad. Should not have done it.
We can do a whole show on this.
Yeah.
We should schedule it in the spring when spring training's coming around, and football's over.
Every week on this wig, I get cheated all the time. I should never have to wear this wig. Okay.
Well, we never got to my carrier pigeon story. It was a thrilling one.
Hey, we should schedule that for carrier pigeon season.
I'm sure you just pocket that one for next week. I will say, listen, just in passing, my new favorite college football team is Liberty University.
Yes, Liberty.
They won again. They're 8-0.
And they're beating good teams.
They're beating good teams.
Right. They're not beating, Sister Mary Christian. They beat Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Now they haven't played Florida.
And whatever.
Or Alabama.
And Indiana.
Or Indiana teams.
Indiana. How all of a sudden is Indiana a powerhouse too?
It's fantastic.
And Michigan is absolutely horrible.
Penn State hasn't won a game.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, we had a lot of ground to cover. We didn't get there.
Crazy stuff happened there. All right, guys. Let's call it a night, Pooh Bear.
That's it. We are done. Thanks for joining us. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Love it if you shared this as well with your friends. I will not be here next week. I think we're going to have to. I'll be traveling. I'll make an effort. Not going to make any promises. I know most people won't be disappointed that I'm not here. Nobody cares. But these other three yahoos will be. So we're going to talk probably some Thanksgiving stuff, what we're thankful for. We'll probably go over potential for a Thanksgiving short. You guys are going to put together something, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, and I think we're also going to.
We are.
We had a meeting on this.
And he was reading the book at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
So, and I think we may vlog Thanksgiving Day. I think I'm kind of excited about something like that. I think that'd be kind of cool.
That's kind of what we talked about today. Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I was there for that. But I wasn't.
Restriction, man.
Restriction. Got to stay healthy, man.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.